Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Brain and Code Commerce Teardowns, where Mel and I select different websites for each episode to run a live audit and provide insights and recommendations. Mel has over 15 years of experience developing websites and is a certified usability analyst. I have over 12 years of experience in the e-commerce industry and multiple Adobe Commerce certifications. And don't forget, if you'd like to see your website featured in one of our episodes, just let us know. Our contacts are here below the video description. So let's not waste time and just straight to the next video. Mel, what did you prepare for us today?
All right. Hello, everybody. So today we've got an office supply website. Very exciting, I know, ordering pen and paper, but it's essentials. So I thought we would take a look at this one. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Grand and Toy, they are a supplier of office products and business solutions. They serve both small and large enterprises. They carry everything from furniture, technology, and just everyday office essentials like your highlighters, pens, and notepads, and binders, and such as well. There's a lot of brick and mortar stores in Vancouver where we live, and so they are both selling online and also brick and mortar. And for a site like this, so different from the other ones we've done for the B2C, fashion, apparel, and games, and like electronics and such, it is heavily B2B focused. And so I think today might be good to take a look at B2B functionality, and also product discovery. Like when you're looking for office supplies and essentials, the way that your buyers can, like, how easy it is for them to find the product they're looking for, because they're probably making a lot of repeat purchases, and they're stocking their offices with the same supplies, right, from
Mhm.
month over month, year over year. And so I think there's a lot of functionality on the product discovery side that is very important. They're going to be looking for something very specific.
Good, good. That's
All
great.
right. Anything you want to add before we jump right in?
No, let's dive in.
Okay, good. Okay, so of course, starting us off on the homepage as always, I typically like to look at the navigation. So let's see how they do. Um, so I love that you could search by keyword or product, because everything I just said, right? I love that it's big, and the keyword input box is visible. It's not one of those that you have a magnifying glass and you have to click the magnifying glass to expand the search bar. So love that. If we go down and take a look at their main navigation, I do see they've got their navigation divided into departments. So these are likely their main product categories. So if I hover over each one, I do see a very good breakdown as well. So I'm really liking their navigation so far. It allows the user to see the range of their product catalog without having even made one click. So I haven't made a single click, right? So I'm just hovering. Sometimes this left right layouts. So hovering over a menu on the left and then links on the right can get a little messy if it's not implemented very well. Because if I like something in break room, let's say like hot chocolate, right? The hot chocolate juice, K cups, and one of those categories. If I hover my mouse over, you see how I kind of quickly went past the cleaning and maintenance. You even saw the hover state activate, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually really well implemented. And so we see, like, when this is poorly implemented, not that I could demonstrate it here because they've done a great job, is when the user's mouse hovers over different labels to get to the lower portions or the upper portions. So if I'm here, I'm going up, right? Then sometimes they'll trigger the other sections, and the user has to be very careful about where they move their mouse in order to get to that right region. And so they've done a fantastic job. And
Yeah.
so when it's poorly implemented, it can be really finicky to use. So this is programming it with the right consideration on the intentions of the user based on their mouse movements, because my mouse cursor didn't pause on any of these labels. for long enough to indicate that I'm wanting to switch to that section, right? So great implementation there. Shop all. I think it looks like you can get down to, if this is the first level, so first, second, and third level. So that's great. I think it's organized very clearly. No excessive design styles that just add clutter. It's very clean, minimalist. So really like that. Ink and toner is probably a big category for them because that's why it's pulled out the navigation. So I think that's very appropriate as well. Deals, we got some icons here for deal center clearance, overstock, new items. I do think it's interesting they applied icons to this section, I think, because if you look at the icons themselves, like the clearance with the price tag, and then deal center being the price tag in the cart, or overstock being a box open, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
really adding to the user's understanding of these categories. So I actually think like if they want to apply icons, might be interesting to do for the departments. So you can at a glance see, paper, furniture, like the icons might assist in the user understanding these categories, and probably less helpful here. Um, so this menu being a text list might actually be better.
Mm-hmm.
Services, Success Center. And then, okay, we won't go here yet, but I could see they do have some B2B features like customer dashboard, sign into my account, and love that before you even log in or create an account, you have a sneak peek of what features that you will have access to once you create an account. So I think that's great as well, because in a lot of cases, this is just an icon and a link, and it doesn't actually encourage a user to create an account, right? So I actually like that. They provided some context in this dropdown, and the cart's big and stylistically separated from the rest of the menu. So I think that's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like their menu, generally speaking. Anything you want to add to the menu before
No,
we move
the
down
only thing
page?
I was going to say is maybe, just maybe, the fact that they didn't use some icons on the departments, it's
Hmm.
because it's already crowded and busy, because
Could be.
they
Yes.
have many categories, and they were afraid to be too, noisy and polluted in terms of visual. But again, I really like the idea of having and those icons and the way the menu works. So everything fine so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, generally, I think a very strong design of the header. Okay, so take a look at the homepage before we click into one of those category pages. I did notice that the hero, the headlines could probably be like they could probably use a bit of work. What we strive for when we're designing a homepage is for the visitor to be able to tell exactly what you sell, have a good understanding of the top 40% at a minimum, ideally maybe 60 to 70% of your categories, so your product range, before they even scroll down. So we call this kind of dated term, but it kind of still applies. I think users will scroll down, but that first impression, right, before they click anything, before they scroll anywhere, because we did hover over departments to get at the category names. Ink and toners there, that's only one, but then other than that, like what's here above the fold on the homepage should really tell the story about your business, what products, services you have to offer without the user needing to make a single click, right? And then,
Mm-hmm.
so I do find that there's a missed opportunity in these hero headlines, that main heading, because people do scan. There might be a bit more description in the copy as we go through the banners, but the headlines don't really tell you what they sell, right? You'd have to know Gran and Toy and know what it is, like set your business up for success in 2025. And even if I were to read the copy, stock up on the essentials for a productive year. Like what essentials, right? And then shop now is also very generic. So I think they could either incorporate something like, if this link went to office supplies, let's say, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they could incorporate that in the heading. They could incorporate that here, like stock up on your office supply or your office essentials. or something like that, right? Like in the copy, or the shop now could say very clearly to the user what category they're going to land on if they click this, right? So shop now could be changed to shop office supplies or shop technology, whatever it is that you're trying to direct traffic to. Because I think I noticed, yeah. So if we take a look at the second banner, a healthy workplace starts here. Prioritize employee well-being with essential cold and flu supplies. So that's better, but it is very small, right? So maybe there's more, like a healthy workplace starts here, restock now. Maybe there's also those, since the pandemic, those barriers, right? Like the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the plastic dividers and other things, right? Masks and such, right? But yeah, I think definitely they could use some improvement in these headlines.
Which is something that we noticed on small, medium, and big size companies, that sometimes they are so used to what they do and what they sell that for whoever is creating the hero, it's obvious, for who's creating, and for those who are approving to say, oh, that's good, let's approve, it's good, because they know what they're talking about. So they, in just one headline, they would know that, oh yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to tell our customers about. But for us, who are having the first contact with the brand, or for those that are not too familiar with the brand, it's a different story. So maybe trying to balance, like you suggest, having something that clearly state what they are selling or what that specific banner is about. It'll be a good way to let people know what you're selling or what you're doing.
Exactly. And then, of course, we can't see their analytics at this point, but I would be very curious to know if web visitors, or what percentage of their web visitors actually click one of these three buttons. Because, like what I was saying about not displaying the product categories above the fold, verse first initial view of the homepage, right? This section could actually be used to display their product categories, and that might resolve some of the issues in the hero, because these are very specific features that they want to promote, right? And and so it's okay, like if you feel like you can't fit 60-70% of your product categories directly in the hero, but the section directly below is often a good place to showcase that product range
Yeah,
close to the
and then
top. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna say something here. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you're gonna say, Sergio, you're crazy. But when I saw this for the first time, these three icons here, these three buttons,
Mhm.
the only word that I saw was explore. I
Explore.
didn't read the second line, so I was like, why are they repeating explore, explore, explore? Why so important?
Yeah.
Explore, explore, explore. So and then I was reading. Oh, actually, they are talking about different areas here. So
Yes.
yeah, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
I would give a little bit more, I don't know, maybe create a business solution and industry served, etc., and then the explorer. And I don't know, maybe I would
Yes. You
change,
you nailed
invert
it
there.
without being a designer. I know you always have that keen eye, even though you're not a designer. It's the typography, right? So stylistically, or when you are designing headlines, then it's like subheadings being descriptive, and then the learn more. If you've got learn more as the links, the learn more shouldn't be the biggest, the consistent word, right? And so in this case, explore being the biggest, of course, your eye is going to be drawn to that bigger and bolder text. Whereas they could keep the word explore, but then business solutions, industry serve, our difference is definitely the keyword here. And did you notice they use icons here again? And so I do think the application of icons, I think it's been incorporated as a stylistic, like a design stylistic, um, from that perspective, rather than it being informational,
Yeah.
right? Because business solutions with a light bulb is sometimes, like, I see light bulbs used for business solutions, but if I'm buying something for my project, well, that could be a light bulb moment too. Or I'm buying supplies for a classroom, right? Or whatever else it is that doesn't fit in the business solutions. Well, a light bulb is kind of generic, right? And so I think that for designers choosing iconography, then you have to make sure that it is actually supporting that the messaging, right? And the web visitors ability to understand a topic without reading. And in this case, kind of falls short, right?
Yeah,
And so so we were talking about the typography, right? And so both, like, I think iconography, if it was replaced with imagery, like photography, and then because I kind of scroll down a bit and I was scanning these as well, right? And I was like, well, maybe the why section could use icons, and then the explore section could use photography. I don't know, right? And so without really digging into what it is like that they're trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
convey
yeah.
in each section, I do think, yeah, it's the application of iconography does need some revisiting for sure. Okay. I like they have I like that they have a few of these sections. So like the as a B2B company to have these trust and credibility sections so that the buyer understands what sets them apart, what are the type of supporting services like customized delivery and such and reporting, right? And having an account, a dedicated account team or rep that assists in my order, make sure things are delivered on time and tracked properly. Like I think that all that is good content.
Mm-hmm.
Existing customer, new customer. This is good as well. USPs are great too. So this here, I think icons are applied correctly. They're relevant in this case
Agreed,
for the
agreed.
USPs. Yeah. And then, oh, there we go. We have the categories. So we scroll past quite a few sections. I think at least like 6 or 7 sections. And now we have the featured categories and feature brands, both really valuable content like for the homepage and product findability. And so my suggestion would be to reprioritize some of these sections and pull the categories and the brands higher up on the page. I think it'll allow the visitor to get to where they need, which is to reorder, right? Especially repeat visitors. It'll help them get to where they need to be that much quicker.
I think it's because what they're doing, they are following the script of a B2B business. Mostly of the B2B, the first impression should be about how solid and reliable your company is to be serving other companies because you're not selling to to the end consumer. So they want to create that the trust. So it's about being trustful, about being reliable, etc. And that's why you add and you saw even some some business information like recognitions and badges and you know like
Mm-hmm.
numbers that align with your business and why should I trust my business with you. uh, and that's fine, but and most of the B2B companies will be doing that, but it's been a while now, I would say at least a few years, that B2B companies understood that the person who's purchasing, it's actually a human being who also do online shopping on B2C. So what they try to do is not do like a B2C style on a B2B project, but kind of uh, mix. So you find like the mid path there. So you do have some feature categories at the top, or some of the products that you want to promote at the top, and then in between you have credibility and things that will show and demonstrate how trustful your business are, and then more below, like a sandwich approach.
Yes.
And this is mixing B2B offering with a B2C experience, and that's what I think here could be used in terms of presenting more products right at the top, and how you present the solutions at the top, mix it with the business recognition and accreditation.
Yes. Yeah. 100% agree. Okay. Oh, before we click onto a category, I did want to say I noticed they have chat, which is great. It's and very specific to B2B use to say account number and order number are
That's
some of the
great.
fields that's in the
That's
form.
great.
And so if someone is, making their purchase and confused, they could pop up in the chat and at any point. And I did also notice they have the accessibility tools as well, which is definitely a plus on their sites. Okay, should we click into one of the categories, see
Yeah,
how they
let's
do?
go. Let's go. Let's see.
Okay, let's
I'm
see.
curious. I
Okay,
love
mhm.
everything. Let's check it out.
Yes. Let's click on one of, okay, let's start at the top because I did notice, yes, like what we said, we could drill down, right? So if I knew I was coming here and I'm buying, for example, binders, right? I would
Hmm.
probably click binders, but I was curious about all the levels of category pages they have, and let's so that we could take a look at that. The ads are a bit distracting. I don't really like that, but at least it's actually aligned with the brand. So I'm not like I use typically I would hate ads, but then in this case, I think it's, at least stylistically, it's not so jarring that I feel like uh it's actually distracting from my experience. I love that when you scroll down, the keyword search is still sticky and the cart is sticky at the top. So love that as well. So it's very accessible. So this is your top level category page. And I think again, so a lot of good stuff we're seeing on the site. So a lot of compliments instead of critique. But I love that on this parent category page, they have actually done a proper category page. So this first level of the scope of the product catalog, we see after the rotating banner, we see breadcrumbs implemented correctly, very
Hmm.
clean layout. So they understand that if a B2B, especially B2B, right? They're coming here to the site to find what they need, add it to cart at the right quantities, checkout, be done, and be able to, of course, come back and track my order and all that, right? And they understand that you don't need a very highly stylized or complex design. So it's really well structured in that it's very minimalist font sizes besides the Explorer we talked about on the homepage, but font sizes, hierarchy of the information, the grid is actually very nicely laid out, and also the imagery. So a
I
lot
love the
of,
imagery. I love.
yeah, right? Yes. And so a lot of companies actually struggle when you have such a large catalog that, for example, this one, right? Let's take the first one. Pencils, markers, and correction. That's a very big category. If I won't click it to stay on this page, but then the shop all, I bet there's a dozen or so subcategories within this category. They've done a great job of creating this montage, this collage of representative products. So if I was looking for an eraser, as I'm not going to get lost because it's only showing a pencil or a pack of pens, right? And same with like well, binders are showing all colors and sizes. I could see, different size and thicknesses. And here, like tape glue adhesives is a collage. And even though there are these collages of uh, product images, they all look like they belong to the same website, all on white, close cropped, and so they've done a fantastic
Yeah,
job. This,
that's
yeah,
fantastic because that's another thing that I was going to mention. Sometimes we do see some B2B or even B2C companies using imagery, but it doesn't seem part of the same website. They have different background or different even for formatting or styling. And here, you are pretty 100% sure that you are still on Grand and Toy website. That's which is
yes.
good.
Yes. Or the other issue that we often see is that they choose just one product. So of course they have their whole product catalog and their data done, and they've got images for all products. When it comes time to compiling, uploading graphics for these higher level category pages, like tape glue adhesives, then maybe you see a pack of tape because that's the first thing, right? Or maybe
Yes.
for whatever reason that they choose, right? Or calendars and planners, they only do a wall calendar. But then at first glance, for the visitor, you're that might not relate to me, not resonate with me, right? Because I'm looking for a small pocket calendar to bring with me, to my meetings and such, right? And so, yeah, love that it's representing at least the top categories. Of course, it's not everything, right?
Yeah.
Because as scrolling down, then we have to be fair. There's some things like desktop tools, that's a very broad category. So they chose a stapler, right? And they're not showing the trimmers or anything else, right? And
Which is still
so,
fine.
yes. Yeah.
And
All
then,
right.
you know, Mel, one thing
Mhm.
that I believe is details. I believe in details because the details really matter when you are in the in a fear competition space like the online sales for the B2B companies. And in this case, the detail they had and the care which showing given me more let me more confident on
Mhm.
placing an order or creating an account with the company and to to check in on more offers, uh, because it seems like they would have or take good care of my company and my order just
Mhm.
because they had that that attention to those is small details here. So that's what I like the most so far.
Yes, or the quality of the products. So the
Exactly.
brands that they carry as well, right? And so, yeah, all of that definitely is like good product photography is going to go, it's going to take you very far in terms of establishing that brand trust and credibility. So clicking on the binders, reports, covers, and accessories, I wanted to see, okay, so when you get to the second level, I assume, of their product catalog, are we still going to see that consistency? And I think so, right? Like at the top,
Yes.
I also, well, I love, again, lots of compliments. I'm actually very happy with the site. I love where like how they showcase subcategories at the top. And so now I know, there's these eight to choose from. If none of them speak to me or I don't want to drill down further and I just want to start browsing a list, I notice that as I scroll down, it's telling me, okay, there's quite a few here, right? Like there's over 1,700 results. Again, very clearly communicating that to me and probably encourages me to use the subcategory filters, but it's giving me two options. Before I even get to the list, I have a visual representation, again, high quality images, very much aligned stylistically with that page previous, so there's no disconnect here. I could click on one of these, and they actually match this text list. So let me see if I could get both in view here. So you see
Yeah.
binders,
Yeah.
index tabs. So I'm going to assume they match, and so here I'm given more information. This text list of how many results, how many products match that subcategory before I make that now very informed decision on which category to go in, right? And so because some users, you have to keep in mind that some website visitors are very visual and some are text-based. And so both of these navigation and product findability layout devices are excellent. And so you could guarantee that of 100% of their website visitors, their needs to be able to filter and drill down further is going to be fulfilled. They'll choose one of
Hmm.
these methods.
Hmm.
They're not going to get lost here, right? So I think that's fantastic. So these categories here. I also quite like that, again, very well implemented scrollable area. Because we see this on other sites as well. And sometimes they're not, the way that it's implemented, it feels clunky, but they have actually done a very, very elegant job of these internal scroll sections so that the next filter attribute and its category, like this grouping, is not pushed too far down. So they've defined that maximum height, implemented the scrollable area, the scroll bar here. And so I think that's great. Also, a lot of care in implementing the filters because on a lot of sites, no matter the type of filter, it's presented the same way, like a list with the results and clickable, right?
Yes.
But you could tell subcategories, clickable lists, brands different, has a search input. So maybe they've got a big list of brands. I'm gonna assume it's a much bigger list than their subcategories. So now they're presenting the user with this option to keyword search, right? So if I don't know what's a good Ox- Oxford, yeah. And also as I start typing, it's already
No, that's
updating
that's
in real
that's
time.
amazing. That's
Excellent,
amazing.
right?
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm like very excited about this. It's like I came here to critique, but there's not too much. But this is good too because then you can see how like some of these things done well, if you don't have that on your site, these are some of the features or usability and UI improvements that you can consider implementing on your site, right? If there's some similarities in terms of the product catalog and industry
And
and
from a,
price, right? Different.
yeah, and from a technical perspective, having this scroll within certain height isn't too complicated to do and brings so much good things for the user, especially when using on the mobile version, that you don't need to scroll down, 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 down just to find the brand they're looking for, and the filter amazing. But I that's what I'm telling you, Mel. The details on this website,
Yes.
it's what, it's impressing me the most.
Yes. And also, I noticed that they are really guiding the user in their experience of this product listing page. For example, they provide them with a lot of filters, which is very helpful, but they've decided which three are the most useful or commonly used, most frequently used. And so these were expanded because you notice when I scroll down, I didn't have to open these
Yes.
up as an accordion. I can see the minus icon there, the symbol, which tells me I could expand and collapse this accordion filter. And the rest of them are collapsed. So I bet like if I open them all, there's a lot of filters that's available for me to use. But as a user, I could decide which one is relevant for my search. Or I could just keep them all collapsed and maybe drill down a bit more. Maybe I'm looking for binders. And so I click a subcategory and I'm gonna guess because it's so well implemented. Yeah. See, consistency, right? So because I was gonna say that when I get to the now this third level of subcategory or listing page, it has a very consistent layout. The user is not having to relearn a new layouts. And so that's why I always tell clients this. It's not that we don't want to be creative in the design sense, like, oh, like this page should look different from that. No, like actually your users strive for consistency because once they learn how to navigate on one page and they go to a similar page, like in this case, second to third level, they want the consistency. They don't want to have to relearn a completely new filter system, right? And so very similar now that we've got down to the third level, and the filters are the same, right? So three of them, the top three expanded already, and the rest collapsed. The one thing moving down, moving over to the right, right? The one thing I did notice that would probably hinder me in finding what I need is the length of the product names. Look at this. Holy, there's a paragraph here. Do I really need to read that? That's what I'm asking myself to find the right binder. And then I think if I go back one, yeah, see this. So the next level was better because at least the binders were different colors. But I noticed when I was sitting here on this page and kind of scanning to the left and right, the images is the same. Oh, actually, they're not. 5, 8, 10. I could kind of see really small there. But there's no expectation, I think, for me or anybody to see that detail in the imagery, right? And then so these are definitely the same product. So these are Granitoy brand index dividers. And the difference between, let's say, these four, right? Look, they look like they should be grouped, or maybe specs displayed much clearer, separated from the main product name. So you might keep some of this information in the main product name. So you might go Granitoy index
Yeah.
dividers, um, probably not number 1 to 8. I don't know, maybe the size is
But
important. So you really
yeah,
have to understand your user, like what are the important specs, right?
yes, but I believe what they did here, and again, I could be behind because I don't have the whole picture or even any information from how it was built. Uh, they could they want to present all the differences between the products with the product name because they are presenting the simple product at the end. Depending on the platform, the e-commerce platform they are using, they could choose to go with a configurable product, which then would have just the grain and toy index dividers, and that's all. And then everything else you would choose based on options that will be different from each one of them, which could be the number 5, 8, or 10. I didn't. went through all the products to know exactly the difference, or even if they could be potentially be in a group product, but on a configurable product. But that the way I'm seeing here, the first glance seems like they are trying to present the different options you have for the same category of products, which is okay-ish, but at the same time will create these huge product names, which seems like you said, a paragraph, just so you can get the difference. And honestly, for anyone who is going to the web through the website and trying to find, it's hard. It's hard. It's even hard for us right now, uh, putting two pair of eyes on each one of them to be able to say right away, oh, I can see the differences because this one is X, that one is Y. But uh, I would definitely revisit that if possible. I don't know if the e-commerce platform allowed that, for them to put as a configurable product and create the configurations based on the attributes that differentiate one simple product from another.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that there might be pros to keeping the simple products in the listing page because we haven't logged in yet. But then I wonder if I knew what the SKU is for my product and my manager is telling me, hey, you got to reorder these dividers, right? And if I'm come to this page, do I want them to be grouped or do I want them separate, like actual separate product cards on the listing page? But what I would question is like all of these specs, there are probably some that are consistent. For example, okay, so I scan through here, and I could see that they're all 8.5 by 11 letter size, so near the middle of the product name, right? So those specs, are they important? Actually, it says here 8.5 by 11, so a lot of repetition. Actually, yeah, so I'm actually getting confused as to what's important and what's not, and I don't really want to say without knowing their data. Or, for example, like they're all hole punch. They're all assorted colors and all that. Yeah, and so I think they really do have to just take a look at the attributes of their products and decide when on the listing page, when your buyer, when that website visitor is making a decision of, is this the product I'm looking for? It's simply that, right?
Yeah.
Is this the product I'm looking for? Maybe they're repurchasing or they're purchasing a new product. And whatever specs are important for that decision without redundancy, display that. And hopefully they could get their product names to maybe a third of the length, right?
Yeah. And
Okay. Yeah.
uh, you said something really important, depending on the login. So I
Yes.
believe one of the things that we should dive in is in the sign in or sign up process to see if something changed once you're there.
Yes. Okay. So I know I do have an account. So um let's sign in and see what. Oh, I actually want it. Now I gotta look for binders again. You know what I'm gonna say, right? It's like, hang on a minute, I signed in. I don't want to navigate back to binders. So that's also a low hanging fruit, I think, for them. I hate that term, but it is.
Yeah, you shouldn't be
Because
redirected to the homepage.
yes,
You
to the
go either
homepage.
to your account, go to your account, or the most ideal situation is to stay exactly on the page that you were once you click sign in.
Yes. Okay. So I got in binders. Let's say we were shopping for binders. I think we were shopping for dividers or whatever, right? But then okay, so binders. And so I can see now that we see the price. Because that was the other thing I was going to point out too, that I'm surprised that they didn't display the price because I know that in a lot of scenarios for B2B companies, they do want to protect the pricing from public visitors, maybe competitors. And so they require the customer to log into their B2B account before they can see pricing. And also, maybe the pricing is specific to their tier of account, right? And maybe I have some perks or like some special pricing attached to my company because I order these on volume, right? So I have a contract with Grand Toy. That said, I would prefer that they have a starting at price before login because it could be that this persona, like the website visitor, is purchasing their binders at another company, maybe Staples or whatever else, right? Maybe Amazon. And if I was presented with a starting at price, and if they are price competitive, I might now be inclined to contact Grand Toy or start an account and start ordering from them and go, "Oh, well, could I save a couple $100 on these thousands of binders I got to order for the company, it's in this order, right?" And so I would have loved to see the pricing, and it could say starting at, if it's because, once you log in, you might see different pricing, right?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I'm 99% aligned with you, but and I have to say the but here is I'm not saying Grand and Toy strategy is this, but they are like, let's use this product or this category of products you are right now, like binders. Can you imagine how many brands and stores are selling binders right now? And we're not only talking about like specific uh, brands or specific companies that do office supplies. You could buy it at Walmart, you could buy it anywhere. So I believe that certain companies, I'm not saying Grand and Toy use that approach, certain companies says, okay, if you want to know my price, you're gonna at least let me know who you are. So at
True.
least you give me something back. Let's trade. You want to know my price? Give me some information, from you, so I can try and create some content and email marketing and campaigns specific to you and your needs, and not only be fighting against price, because this is a very fierce competition area and
That's true.
eco space. So I don't know. I'm not saying Grand and Toy use that as the strategy, but I noticed that on some B2B companies uh done that before. I like the idea of
Yeah.
starting at, but in products like this that are, it's very granular. You can find binders pretty much everywhere. If you go to the gas station, you maybe find some binders there to purchase. So for that scenario, instead of serving as just a reference price, so you could discuss price with your local supplier, give me your information and let me present you with some marketing campaigns and offers, and maybe you become our client. I think
That is,
that's a good
yeah,
approach.
that's a very good point. Yeah, I think you might be right. That might be why. Okay, the other thing I really like about this is it shows stock, shows when delivery is going to be, because as a B2B buyer, that is very important. I might need more than 16 of these binders, right? Like, because I am making bulk purchases. I also might need it next day delivered so that I get it within the week. Maybe this is something I need and can't wait 2 or 3 weeks for, right? And so if I scroll down, let's see. Yeah, so there are some products that deliver in 2 weeks. Maybe it's at the warehouse. Maybe, they had to reroute some product to ship to me and such, right? Or order from the supplier and such, right? So I think that's very helpful. I don't know that I saw, let me just scan here. I don't think I saw that I could filter the products based on the delivery or stock availability. So I think that would be good to add because they definitely have that data, beautifully designed as well, right? And so I think that that would be very helpful to add, because in that use case I just described, right? I do think some users will want to
Oh,
use that. Mhm.
I found one thing. If you scroll up,
Yeah.
it's not a filter, but on the sort by, they have a delivery.
So if I need it fast, right? And
Yeah,
so I could sort by.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's helpful. Uh, but
And here
that's
you have
but
next
hang
day or
on. But I sorted by delivery time, and now this binder that delivers in 14 to 16 days is ahead of, because see, some of them are next day. Yeah, so it's on,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So okay. Love the site, as you can tell. We're loving it. Maybe some small bugs, but yeah, that's minor for sure in the grand scheme of things.
But
The other thing I
it's
love,
not, it doesn't say the stock. Maybe there's a
no.
catch.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
there is. Yeah.
maybe if
Yeah.
you click in the product detail page, maybe you're gonna find something else.
So yeah, maybe there's something else that's leading to this sort order. I also love that the visitor can just add products to cart, and also looks like, yeah, there's bulk pricing, right? I can order this by the carton instead of each and save some money and be able to add to cart and compare. So also very important for this type of product where um the B2B and this type of office supply product where I'm am likely not making a single product order. I am very likely ordering multiple products, multiple quantities, and so this get bringing the quantity and the unit pricing, the uh, add to cart and also compare to the product listing page, it's just going to save me that much, just that much more time. Because if you think about it, if I'm ordering 10 products, if I have to go to the product detail page for each one, like we're having this whole discussion on the product listing page, right? We haven't, I could be finishing my purchase directly from this page and not have to visit all those product detail pages, right? And so I think that that is very effective for a page like for a site like this. And subscription too, once you get to the product detail page. Okay, so not much surprising here on the product detail page. So I
Mm-hmm.
know we are about time. And so I just wanted to, before we wrap up for this episode, just take a look at the accounts section and see what they've got there. So if I click on customer dashboard, it looks like I can build my own dashboard, which is very neat. So we won't do that today. And also, if I haven't done it before, looks like they have a good tutorial. So I could drag and drop my most used features right on this dashboard.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And this is really taking personalization for that B2B customer to the next level. I would feel special
To the
as a
next, the
customer.
next, the next level.
Yes, right? Yeah, so yeah, I will build it, like I said, together, because we don't have the time to do that. But even in these animated GIFs for this walkthrough, I could see how functional it is. I can even resize things. I can, well, add and remove, obviously, rearrange the order of my widgets, and yeah, personalized layouts, and they've got order tracking, order lists. Oh, that's amazing, eh? I do want to play with it, but
I'm
not
impressed.
today,
I'm
but
impressed. Totally
I am
impressed.
impressed too. And if I come here, let's just take a look at what's here. Um, oh, I love this. So, because I've been on the site before, right? And we've um, added things to the cart, and so it's actually telling me that in another session, in a previous session, when I visited the site, that there's a cart waiting that I haven't completed the order of, and I can come back to it. So let me click view. And so you can see, I've got two of them right here, and I can reopen this cart. Oh, I think this session. I just ordered these binders, right? As we were, so it's actually
Yes,
built, yeah, it's
yes.
creating them in real time. And also, so I did see this here, and I was almost gonna say they're missing out on this very important feature for B2B is quick product entry. So because I might have an order list with the SKU number, with the quantity, I have all the information, from my manager or whatever. Maybe I built the list myself, and I would love to be able to not even use the keyword search or like navigate through the category and the listing pages that we loved, but still that's clicks, right? To be able to come to a place where I just put in the SKU or product code in this case, the quantities I need, the unit, maybe this tells me like if I grab this, let's see. Yep. And then it tells me what it is, right? And then also, do I want to buy it per unit or as a carton, like we saw, right? 12 of them, save some money. And then add more products, and then add the entire list to cart. So yeah, that's great to see. It would have been good. So I guess the only point is that it would have been good if it was more obvious on the site. So sometimes
Yes.
we do design B2B homepages where if we have a lot of customers coming for reorder and showcases like directly on the homepage. They don't even have to leave the homepage. They just go grandentoy.com, and then they see, oh, like quick order, and then they can interact with it right on the homepage. Or have it somewhere as a utility so they can pop it open, or you click the link in the utility and you go to the page dedicated for quick product entry, like quick orders, right? So I think that would be the only minor recommendation I have for that.
Another great thing that I would suggest, and I noticed that in a few B2B companies websites before, is to have the ability to upload a file with
Yes.
the SKU, quantity, and the unit you want to buy, uh, because they sell so many products. They are in so many categories that I I I wouldn't be surprised if one single client would have like over dozens of items on the shopping cart. And sometimes to keep doing that, even with the product code, which is already good, but if you could have the ability to upload a TXT file or XML file, something that would be easier for the customer, a CSV
Yes.
file, and I would suggest that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I was trying to see, is it buried? Is it in tools? No. Yeah, maybe create a new order. Let's just go there and take a look. Yeah, still no file upload. That's a very good recommendation. Yeah. It's just, speed to order, right? Like it's and efficiency is what you want to provide this persona for sure.
And
Yeah.
depending on the size of the company, the buyer would have like hundreds of
Hundreds.
lines to add there.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
I would say the bottom line is that Brandon Toys is a very well thought and built website. Yes, there are certain things that we would do differently or would adjust here or there, but they're minor. So I would say this definitely has like the Brandon Code seal of approval because it's really good from a usability and also from a technology standpoint. Everything they are using here will only make the user life better and potentially increasing the reordering and new sales, which is the goal for the company. Anything else, Mel, you want to add before we wrap up?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, so that's good. So that wrap up this episode of Brandon Code E-commerce Teardowns. And again, just a reminder, if you'd like to have your website featured in our upcoming episode, don't hesitate to reach out. Our contact details are here in the video description. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to see you in our next episode. Bye-bye.